Hey y'all, just finished a run. My mom has something to say before this video starts. Be nice and listen.
Hi everyone. You may not know me, but my name is Janice. I'm Jordan's mother. Today I'm going to be assisting him in recording his intro. So we want everyone to sit back, relax, and get ready for an awesome message coming from Jordan Trotter. Enjoy your day. Thank you.
So goofy. Alright, what an amazing introduction from my mother. Yo, y'all, as you all can see, I received a $13,000 payout. I flipped $500 to $700. I flipped 100 to 1,000. And I'm about to show y'all the 3 steps I take every single day when I'm in the market. Following these 3 steps allow me to receive these payouts. So let's get into the video. Alright, what's good, y'all? So don't worry about my glasses. I just came back from outside. They'll go back to normal here in a few. Right now, I got my chart set up, and I got a few pictures I want to show y'all. But before we get started, I just want to say, truth be told, I don't know how to fully explain my strategy. This is why I made a free Discord. This is why I did all of that. So y'all can ask me questions, and I can just give y'all answers live. Instead of me trying to figure out a way, I can figure out the way as I'm doing it. I don't know how to do it, so right now, I'm going to try my best. I'm just going to say what I'm doing, and what goes on in my head, I'm gonna say it out loud as I'm breaking down the charts so y'all can see the full in-depth version of the strategy. I don't know. I'm gonna try my best. If you understand, great. If you don't understand and you have more questions, join the free Discord down in the link below. So I'm going to do this previous trade. I'm gonna do this breakdown so y'all have an idea on how I caught this. I want to go through a counter trend trade as well. Hold on. Here's a counter trend setup. I'm gonna show y'all as well. So first setup, GBP USD. This is the flow of the market. This is a live breakdown. This is what I'm looking for as the market is developing right now. And here's the thing. So I have 10 I have 10 outlooks I have on the market. Is 5 scenarios each. I have a bullish version, I have a bearish version, so you have an idea of how I'm entering, when I'm entering, and what I'm looking for. So the first one is going to be a bearish example. We have the flow of the market, we have a counter trend setup, counter trend setup, counter trend setup, flow of the market. Next, you have the bullish trend. Make sure you pause, take a screenshot of this. You have the flow of the market, counter trend, counter trend, counter trend, flow of the market. And then last, you have these steps when you're trading with the trend and counter trading against the trend. So going with the flow of the market, we identify using the daily, we find our zone using a 4-hour, 30-minute as our entry time frame, 15-minute, we look for the switcher structure. Counter trend, we just drop one time frame down. So instead of the daily, it's the 4-hour. Instead of the 4-hour, it's the 1 hour. Instead of the 30-minute, it's the 15-minute. And instead of the 15-minute, it is the 5-minute. And then you use those time frames and you do the exact same thing. And I'm about to show you right now. So starting off on the daily time frame, like we just talked about, our job is to identify the market. This is the flow of the trend. Why? Because I'm about to show you. Starting off on the daily time frame, you can see how the daily was in this bearish trend. We then went bullish due to the breakout of these lower highs, and price now has went back bearish, breaking out of these higher lows. We now have our lower high, we have our breaker structure, and now we have our lower low. So right now we are identifying the market we're in. We can see that we are in a bearish trend. Great. Next, where can I see price retrace to? We just performed the breaker structure. Where can price retrace to so I can possibly catch a trade? This is when I drop down towards the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, off rip, you can see how we are in perfect sync, being in a bearish trend, same as the daily time frame. The daily has recently performed the breaker structure. The 4-hour has recently performed the breaker structure. The daily needs to form a retracement. Well, where can I see a retracement taking place? Where can it possibly end up? Well, going towards a 4-hour time frame, knowing that we are in sync in a bearish trend, the only thing I do now is I draw out my trend, I see that my recent break of structure happened around here. This is when I grab my box tool, this box tool, I put it at my recent break of structure, the structure where price gave me the continuation break. After I put this box tool here, I then look towards our previous data and I count the number of rejections. I have 1 rejection, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and it goes on and on and on. I want to just have 2 or more rejections. I have that. Okay, great. So right now we identified the market off of the daily. We identified the market again on the 4-hour, and this is how we found our zone. Now it's time to look for our entry in the switcher structure. So I'm not going to show y'all the entry. If you want to see that, go into the Discord section. The only thing I'm going to show you is the breaker structure. So in order for the daily time frame and the 4-hour to form this beautiful retracement, the 15-minute time frame had to go from this bearish, as you can see, we went from this bearish market to a bullish market in order to allow the higher time frames to have the retracement back towards our area of interest. Once price tapped back into, you can now see how price is giving us the break of structure, getting back in this bearish trend. Well, as soon as price gave me the switcher structure, you can see going from bullish to bearish, you could have found an entry around here. But the reason why I'm not in this trade just yet is due to us not being in our time session to trade. And 2, you can obviously see clear as day, price is hovering above my daily structure point. I don't want to see that. So right now the 15-minute is bearish, which is good. That's what I want to see. But I want to see our switch of structure either take place at my entry zone or below my daily structure point. So right now we are at my entry zone, but we are not below my daily structure point, which means we are simply going to wait until price pushes down below, give us a break underneath our daily structure point, having the continuation move with this 15-minute time frame bearish trend. Once we can have that, let's adjust this and stay on the 15-minute. Once we can have that, we simply find our entry. Hold on, y'all. Once we can have this break of structure underneath this daily zone, having the continuation trend going in this direction, I will then find my entry once price gives me the break, stops just above, and my targets those 4-hour structure lows. Keep in mind how I find my take profit zone. I use my same zone. Well, I use the same time frame where I found my area of interest. I found my area of interest on the 4-hour, meaning I'm going to use my 4-hour structure lows to find a take profit level. So GBP USD is how I find the Florida market. I also will show y'all a recent trend or a recent trade I have taken, again going with the Florida market, so you can see or have an idea of what that looks like. Give me a second, I'm about to pull that up. All right, so same thing, I'm gonna go into replay mode so you get a better understanding. We're around here. So this is how I found this trade, again going with the Florida market. On the daily time frame, I wanted to identify my structure. On the daily, I saw that price has recently gave me a breaker structure continuing this bearish trend. I have my lower high, breaker structure, lower low. Where can I see price possibly retrace to? This is when I go towards the 4-hour. You can obviously see on the daily time frame, going back towards the daily, you can see once price presented me with this breaker structure, the 4-hour had the exact same thing happen around here. So as soon as the daily gave me a breaker structure, the 4-hour had a breaker structure, meaning the daily and the 4-hour are in perfect sync. This is good. So now how do I find my zone? Well, since I know that the daily and the 4-hour are in sync, I'm gonna stay on the 4-hour time frame. Since we've already identified the breaker structure off the daily time frame, I'm looking for an area where price can retrace to. This is when I go towards the 4-hour time frame. I identify what trend we're in, which we've already done. We are in a bearish trend due to the breakout of these lower lows. After price gave me a break of these lower lows, we then had a retracement back towards this area. But before price even formed this retracement, once price gave me the break of this structure, this is when I grabbed my box tool and I dragged this zone out like so, and I count my rejections. I have 1, 2, 3. If I continue to drag this area out towards the left, we have 4, 5, 6, 7 rejections, well more than 2 rejections towards this zone, which is good. I then waited for the 15-minute time frame to present me the switch of structure. As soon as price on the 4-hour tapped back into the recent break of structure, I now wanted to be patient until I saw a break of structure on the 15-minute, knowing that the 15-minute time frame has to go from this bearish to bullish in order to get back into my entry zone. I now want to see price go from bullish to bearish in order for me to find my position. Well, if I fast forward, you can obviously see that price on the 15-minute is in a bullish trend due to our higher low being here, recent breaker structure being here, and we have our potential higher high being here. Keep in mind, I don't know if it's my higher high because this is what price looks like, and if price is looking like this, price could easily continue towards the upside like so, and then have a retracement. So I always say it's a possible higher high until I see some type of retracement. Well, some type of pullback that's allowing me to see that the retracement is getting formed, right? It's starting. So until we see a retracement, we know that this is the breaker structure. We have our higher low, and we continue to wait. Boom, we now have that higher high being set, solidifying this bullish trend. I want to see a breaker structure around here showing me this bullish to bearish flip. I find my entry, and so on and so forth. So if I fast forward, I was continuing to be patient, boom, price gave me the first breaker structure here, but it's ugly. I want to see something cleaner, so I continue to wait. We can then see price had the retracement, another rejection, and then another push, solidifying now this breaker structure. This is when I found my entry. Like you all know, I'm using my 4-hour zone for my area of interest, and now I'm using my 4-hour structure lows for my take profit. I always look for a minimum of a 1 to 2. If price is not giving me a minimum of a 1 to 2 at my first take profit level, I make sure it at least gives me a 1 to 1. If I can get a 1 to 1, I simply adjust my take profit to where it's giving me a 1 to 2, or even put it at the lowest wick of wherever structure point is. So looking something like this, I now have my take profit, I got my stop loss, and now we simply allow this trade to ride. And you can obviously see price had a beautiful push towards our targets. Now give me a second. I'm gonna show you an example of a counter trend move. Keep in mind, this is the flow of the market due to my daily time frame and my 4-hour time frame being in sync. You can see based off of the daily time frame, we had the recent break of structure, the retest, continuation. If I go back towards this example, you can obviously see, let's drag this towards right here. You can obviously see we are in a selling trend overall, right? We have the break of structure, the retest of structure. Our entry came once we got back below this area of interest. We have the break, retest underneath this area of interest, found our entry, continue to ride this trade. The exact same thing. So now I'm going to show you an example of a counter trend move dealing with price in a bullish market. So hold on. Dealing with price being in a bullish market, but we're looking to catch a counter trend move back towards the downside. I do not recommend this. I only recommend trading counter trend setups if you are experienced in the market. If you're not experienced in the market, do not trade counter trend setups. So give me a second. I'm about to find an example. All right, so here's a counter trend setup. It's a little ugly, but just bear with me. I'm gonna try my best to show you just cleaner structure. So right now, daily time frame, my job is to identify what trend we are in. And looking at the daily time frame, I can see clear as day that price is in this bullish trend. Due to the breakout of these higher highs, we have that higher low, and now we are simply waiting. We have that recent break of structure being here. We're going to name that break of structure. And then what happened? After price gave us this break of structure, you can see how price had the retracement getting back below that zone. So right now, price looks something like this, right? And my job is to what? Possibly find an entry somewhere. Why? Because this is a counter trend setup. And if I go back towards this picture, well, not this picture, we go back towards this picture. So if we look right here, right, what type of setup are we in? We are in a bullish trend. Prices got back below our area of interest, and I'm looking to catch a sale. Looking over here, we're in a bullish market. We know that. Okay, good. Is price above my area of interest? No. Is price below my area of interest? Yes. Well, are we bullish? Yes. Are we bullish? Yes. Are we below that area of interest? Yes. Well, we're looking at a number 2 type of setup in the market. So knowing that we're looking at number 2, we're looking to catch a trade at this area of interest due to it getting back underneath the zone and now possibly treating this zone as resistance. So after I saw this setup, I then wanted to see some type of pullback back towards this area of interest, solidifying it as resistance, show signs of rejection, and then continue. So my thing was, now after I saw price have this beautiful dump underneath my zone, I dropped towards the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, and actually before we even get there, let's go back towards the daily, take away these drawings. On this daily time frame, you can see how price is bullish. Price then gets back below my area of interest, and as price gets back below, we form this beautiful bearish engulfing candle. Seeing this bearish engulfing candle, I know that selling pressure is now getting established, and we are back below my zone. So after seeing that, I dropped towards a 4-hour. On the 4-hour time frame, you can see how this presented us with the break of structure. Again, I'm gonna draw out structure so you can see a little bit cleaner. You can see how price went from this bullish to now getting in a bearish trend due to the break of structure. If I drag this out, let's actually spread it out a little bit more. Boom. So this is what we look like, right? You can see price go from this bearish to bullish to now back bearish due to the break of these higher lows, right? If you can't see that, let's mark it off. We have the break of structure. You can see how price had this beautiful move, breaking past these lower highs, having a continuation towards the upside. We then formed 2 pivot points where price on the last pivot point performed this beautiful break of structure, going from bullish to now back bearish. We now have this beautiful lower high being here, and then we have the break of structure being here. And now, where can I find my area of interest? This is where I went towards the 1-hour time frame. You can see clear as day, the 4-hour performed the break of structure, the 1-hour performed the break of structure. We are in perfect sync. This is good. Keep in mind, we are going off of the counter trend market. We know that the daily is bullish, but the 4-hour is bearish. This is when I use the 4-hour to identify, the 1-hour to find my zone, 15 and 5 to find my entries. So right now we're on the 1-hour time frame. We've already identified the 4-hour is bearish. We have now identified that the 1-hour is also bearish due to the break of structure that happened around here. We have the switch from bullish to now bearish trend. We have the break of structure, but we have our last structure break happen here. This is when I grab my box tool, I put it at this zone, and then I drag this zone out towards the left, and I count out the number of rejections. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and probably more rejections towards this area of interest, showing me that it is a well-respected zone. So now I simply wait for price to retrace back towards this area, allowing the 4-hour time frame and the 1-hour time frame to form the retracement back towards my area of interest. We fast forward, we see price form the retracement back towards this area of interest on the 1-hour. You see it on the 4-hour get established as well, and then on the 5-minute time frame, since we are using the 5-minute time frame switch of structure, since we are in a counter trend setup, I see that price also went from this bearish to now bullish trend, getting back towards my area of interest, and now I simply wait for the next break of structure, continuing this bearish move, allowing the 5-minute to go from this bullish to now back bearish trend in order for me to find a position. So if I fast forward towards my entry, boom, you obviously see, going back towards the 5-minute time frame, how price had this beautiful, let me zoom in, price had this beautiful bullish continuation. We then went bearish once we got back towards my 1-hour area of interest. You can see how we went bearish, price then went back bullish on the 5-minute time frames. I'll wait for the break of structure that happened around here. You can see we went from this bullish to then back bearish due to the breakout of these higher lows. I found my entry. Since I'm using my 1-hour area of interest to find my rejection, I'm using my 1-hour lows to find my take profit. Like I told you all, if I target my 1-hour lows, I'm looking for a minimum of a 1 to 2. And in this case, we've already looking at a 1 to 2 in risk to reward in return, so we're good to go. Now I simply allow my trade to ride. And as you can see, clear as day, price had no problem hitting targets for a beautiful 2.83% in return. And did price continue? And price even gave you a little bit more profit towards the downside before we started to form the next retracement. All right, so I hope you learned something from this video. Like I said, I'm trying my best to explain my strategy fully, but without any type of live feedback. I do better if you come to the Discord. It's a free Discord if you're wondering. Come to the Discord. You have live feedback. Like, we can hop on a call right then and there, whenever you need to discuss what I just went through in today's session. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know. If you want a little bit more, come to the Discord. I do this every single day in the Discord, every single week. And yeah, more videos like this will be posted on this channel like anything else. So if you need more trading insights, if you want more trading insights, join the Discord family. It's for the free ski. I'm looking to help everybody get to this point where I'm at. It's easy. I can close my eyes. I can walk down the street and not fall. That's how confident I feel when I'm reading the market. So if you like it, let me know, and I'm gonna catch y'all later on. Deuces.